アメリカ時間6月29日、アスレチックス対ドジャースの一戦。1点ビハインドで迎えた4回、ドジャースはマンシーのソロホームランで同点に追いつくと、続くパヘスがレフトへ、勝ち越しの2ランで試合をひっくり返します。さらに6回ノーアウト1塁2塁のチャンスで、1番大谷翔平。完璧に捉えた打球はライトスタンドへ突き刺さる第18号ツーランホームラン。6試合ぶりの一発でリードを広げます。投げては先発のラウアーが6回3-3失点と粘りのピッチングで今シーズン4勝目。先発全員安打の17安打9得点と打線が爆発したドジャースが敵地での3連戦初戦を9対4で制しました。その試合後の選手や監督の声を日本語字幕でご紹介します。
Road trip, taking 5 of the first 6. They're coming to a minor league ballpark. No such thing as a trap game. That was a complete showing from the offense.
Yeah, it really was. Offensively, the Dodgers were great this evening. A couple of long balls. Shohei had that 3-run shot. Max Muncy. And, of course, Andy Pages. Pitching, Eric Lauer was good. He was workmanlike. Look, he had some terrible luck. Some balls just falling in, but still gave the Dodgers 6 innings. Defense was solid. Relief pitching. Again, possibly a trap series, not so much.
Quality start from Eric Lauer. They've been seeing a ton of those from Justin Robleski. He takes the hill tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, it's not going to get any easier for this A's ball club. Justin Robleski has been as good as any Dodger pitcher. He's given the team length. He's been very effective. He looks to continue the same. It's going to be interesting just, this ballpark, right? It could be something that it might present some difficulty. He's going to have to be workmanlike, but I expect to see what he's been doing all year long.
It'll be the first shot at the Dodgers clinching this series and the first shot at getting Dave Roberts his 1,000th win as a manager.
Well, Dave, obviously ahead of the game we talked about just playing here and how it could maybe look a little bit different. Was it essentially just as you expected when you looked at maybe some of that soft contact, especially off of Eric Lauer, that maybe felt just a little unlucky for him?
Yeah, I thought, early he got behind a lot. They did a good job of just putting the bat on the ball, finding some outfield grass. I'm really happy that he kind of found his way right of the ship and then, got through 6 innings for us. But, yeah, I thought tonight it was a great environment. We certainly, as a Dodge, were pretty well represented. And it was good to see the offense come to life. I thought Max, big homer, Shohei, big homer, Andy with the big homer, and then we just took good at-bats all night long. Kyle had some good at-bats, so, solid game.
Even within there, you talk about the offense, but how good is it when you have someone like Teoscar Hernandez comes back in the lineups and is able to produce things early?
It was good. He was anxious to get back and got a left-handed starter, took some really good at-bats, and it was good to get him back in the mix, and he's certainly a presence.
There's a lot of contact in Eric Lauer's stat line, but at the end of the day, it's still another quality start. When the front office signed him, it was essentially to shore up these innings in the back end of the rotation. How critical has it been that he's been able to do so?
It's been critical. Certainly, every time he takes the ball, it seems like he's going 6 innings, and he's given us some length. We're in the middle of 13 in a row, and so, coming out of that San Diego series, got those guys again for 4. So for him to kind of be a little bit shaky early, not get the strikeouts, but still, take down 18 outs was big, and that's what he signed up for, and he's been nothing but impressive for us.
Is it about as good as you've seen Shohei hit a ball this year?
Yeah, that was a good one. You could just see that he was kind of sizing up that slider, and he got left it up and put a really good swing on it. So Shohei's been on a heater. He's the last 6 weeks he's been the best player in baseball.
Even the other day you said he's still not in 100%. How much is he now?
No, I don't think he's 100% with his knee. But as far as like his swing mechanics, where he's at, he's on balance. He's 100% in the box though.
Now Shohei is two home runs away from 300. How special is it for him?
It's very special for him. It's just another milestone, and he's got there pretty quickly. And I hope we see it tomorrow.
How about you?
I am. I'd like to get it out of the way tomorrow too. But quite the accomplishment. I'm pretty excited.
Dave, what's your thoughts about the ballpark here?
I love it. I think that the Athletics, Major League Baseball, did a fantastic job as far as our accommodations. Playing surface is great. The fan base is always great. The A's fan base is always great. Good energy. It plays great. So my first time, really impressed. Very happy to be here in Sacramento. It's a great city.
What have the crowds felt like this road trip, especially with even like in San Diego, kind of how Dodger heavy they've been? Have you guys been able to feel that when you're playing? We have.
This, I mean, San Diego is certainly more partial to the Padres, obviously, but here, I think we got market share tonight. It was fun. A lot of people don't get a chance to see us play, so people up here in this area, Northern California, get to see us, get to see Shohei put on a show. So that was a lot of fun tonight.
Gage jump, obviously up against a tough lineup tonight. How do you see his outing overall today?
I mean, overall he battled. He competed. He didn't have his best stuff tonight, execution-wise. I didn't think the breaking ball was kind of inconsistent. The changeup really couldn't land. So he was really up against it, just trying to battle. Against this team, we talk a lot about just trying to be perfect, trying to play a good, clean, crisp game. The pitch to Muncy, obviously he's trying to elevate that pitch, misses location, and these guys are really good at mislocation balls in the middle. They do damage, and we gave up 3 homers tonight on mistakes.
For Crowder, 3 hits. What do you think of his first major league game?
No, for a young man to take a flight, land at 4 o'clock this afternoon, be prepared to have this type of performance. It says a lot about him. Slow heartbeat. Obviously, he's prepared for this moment his whole life, and to go out and throw out 3 hits, on his debut is pretty special.
What could you say about Morris? He gave you 3 innings there.
Thought Morris did a great job outside the leadoff walk to Tucker, which Tuck challenged a pitch that was borderline to continue to get bat, and I think Kay did a great job of just of keeping us in the game still. He got out of a tough jam, executing a sinker down, getting some ground balls when he needed to. So overall, I thought it was a great outing for Cade.
It's frustrating, offense. After I gave up 2, we put up 3, and then, I just couldn't hold it. So, yeah, frustrating.
Well, in anticipation of this game, you knew you had to face this kind of a lineup, this kind of a team. You had any kind of extra adrenaline pumping or nervousness, anything like that?
No. My job's to go out and compete and win games. I don't care who the other team is. Just got to be better.
Yeah, I understand you didn't have your best stuff. Could you talk about this? 2 or 3 pitches maybe missing with those?
Yeah, just missing all around, falling behind. It's hard to pitch like that.
You're obviously on a pretty good stretch coming in here. I don't know if it makes it any easier, but how do you kind of take an outing like this and kind of work towards your next outing?
Yeah, I think just learn from it. Learn from it and then flush it and be better next time out.
Yeah, and Ohtani was 0 for 3 against you. Any special emphasis the way you face him, because he usually kills all pitchers? Ohtani.
Yeah, Muncy hit a home run off me, so I don't know, still lost.
Eric, when you look at just how this game started and your outing started, it was a lot of soft contact. Unfortunately, it did land for hits, but did it just feel kind of like, considering how soft the contact was, a little unlucky for you to start this one?
Yeah, that's actually a pretty good way of putting it. It felt like it was, just getting singled to death, which, it'll happen, but you just try to make pitches and make sure that you're, executing good pitches. Sometimes that kind of stuff happens, but as long as they're not, as long as you're keeping soft contact in play, I think it's, eventually it'll work out in our favor, and I think it did overall.
Was that an adjustment that you made, or did you kind of just stick to your approach and then look for just a different contact?
No, I think I just stuck to my approach and made sure that I was, focusing on executing pitches and letting my defense work behind me, and I knew eventually they would start going at people instead of, right in the right spots for them.
Eric, when the Dodgers traded for you, they're pretty clear about the role they needed you to fill. Since then, you've been able to do so thanks to a couple of adjustments and overall execution. How much pride do you take in knowing that you've been able to give them exactly what they've needed?
I think it's a big point for me to make sure that I'm going out there and doing my job every day. It's what I try to do every time, and just making sure I'm putting the team in a position to win the game is pretty much my job, and I think so far I've done a good job of that, and making sure that I'm able to stay in the game long enough to save the bullpen a couple innings is always a positive, and I've been really happy with the way I've been executing pitches, especially with the adjustments that I've made after coming here. So overall, I feel like I'm in a really good spot, and I think I'm doing my job well.
Why do you think you've been able to settle down a bit, later in your outings compared with earlier?
As far as early in the game or earlier this year? I don't know if I have an exact answer for that. I think I'm a very feel-oriented pitcher, so as the game goes on, I can kind of feel out how things are going, what's working, what's not, and what the other team's approach is towards me. So I think that's kind of just the style of pitching that I have, and it's something that I want to get a little better at, early in the game, of making sure that I'm not allowing them to kind of jump on me too quick. But overall, I think as long as I can maintain the level of execution that I've had recently, good things will happen. I think today was kind of like the opposite of last week, where last week I didn't have great stuff, but I had really good command. I felt like today I didn't have great command, but I had better stuff. So, hopefully moving forward we can kind of marry those two together and, have really good outings.